Hey, my freshmen. I hope you guys enjoyed There's a Billy Goat in the Garden. Again, it's a great story for teaching those 5 parts of plot, so I hope you feel a little more confident with exposition, rising action, climax/turning point, falling action, and resolution. You'll see a little more practice with that tomorrow as your due first activity. It's a little mini quiz. Should be pretty easy if you've been taking good notes that you can use on your quiz. Right now, we're walking through capitalization notes. So I do want to move forward with grammar a little bit, just as we prepare for our first quiz coming up in a few weeks here, and our first test in about a month here. I want to make sure that we're continuing to develop in those grammar skills. There is a practice assignment with capitalization below the video. It's at the very bottom of today's lesson folder. It's not due until midnight Friday night, so you've got some time to take good notes as you walk through capitalization with me today, and then use them as you do a little bit of capitalization practice yourself. I want to note, for upcoming, I put that we have a writing practice activity on Friday. I'm debating whether we're going to do that or not. It really just kind of depends on how this week goes for all of us. If I feel like we've done enough this week, and we could use just a time to check in with one another and catch up on what might be missing, we'll do that. If we're all doing great and we can handle a little bit of extra writing practice, we'll do that over the weekend. We'll see. Let's move back here. And let's walk through capitalization notes here. Just like the last time we did notes, I do have our PowerPoint just embedded into our capitalization notes lesson right here. We'll walk through this together. I hope you can see everything well. Not quick though. There we go. I want to walk you through a couple more rules with capitalization today, as well as do a little bit of practice together so you feel confident with correcting capitalization errors yourself. First of all, I should say, I did not create this PowerPoint presentation. I want to give credit where credit is due. Mrs. Tan already had this one created, and she modified it. She fixed it up to make it work for our class this year. So a special thanks to her for creating this. It's a really good framework for capitalization rules, and I'm glad that I get to use it as well to teach you the rules. Thanks, Mrs. Tan. To begin, we already know this rule because we covered it last week. Every sentence that you write begins with a capital letter, must begin with a capital letter. It's the simplest of all capitalization rules. It's one that you probably learned at some point in grade school, but it's an easy one to overlook if you're not careful while you're reading or writing. Sorry about that. Sorry if there's a little weird time jump there. I got a bunch of messages at once. In any case, the other really simple capitalization rule is that the pronoun I always gets capitalized. Always, always, always. I'm not saying that the letter I always gets capitalized. So if you're using the word iguana, for instance, we're not going to capitalize iguana every time. But the pronoun I, if you're talking about yourself as a subject, always gets capitalized in the English language. Why do we have to focus on these itty-bitty small rules? It's mostly because these are the rules that are easiest to overlook. They're the ones that are missed most often. When you're proofreading, whether you're reading a document or whether you're writing and you're reading your own stuff, they are really easy ones to overlook. It's really easy to miss a lowercase I that should be a capital I. So we always want to make sure that we're careful with those two rules. This all has to do with just being professional. In order for us to be professional writers in our academics, we have to follow those simple rules and do it well. The third rule with capitalization is the tricky one, proper nouns. The rule itself is a simple one, but there's a lot of ways that this rule plays out in the English language that we have to be careful with. Proper nouns name specific people, places, or things. So to be specific, for instance, a general word would be something like man, right? M-A-N, man. I'm not talking about any specific man, just a man in general, right? That's going to be lowercase. But now when we have a specific man, no matter who it is, we're going to start capitalizing names, right? I'm a man, so Mr. Hantak, capital M, capital H. Oh my goodness. Capital M, capital H. It gets capitalized. It could be a celebrity, so LeBron James, capital L, capital J. It could be a historical figure, Abraham Lincoln, capital A, capital L. We're talking about a specific person, one person at a time, instead of talking about a general man. Same thing applies for places or things or ideas, so nouns in general. Proper nouns obviously begin with a capital letter. Sorry. And there are some specific proper nouns that get capitalized according to categories. So geographical names, places, specific places get capitalized. We looked at titles along with names. Organizations, buildings, memorials, parks get capitalized. Specific dates, whether they're holidays or days of the week or months of the year. And then subjects, whether they're subjects in school, languages, religions, those get capitalized too. Let's see it. So like I said, geographical names, probably the biggest individual category of proper nouns because there's so many different terms that we use for geography, for places. One example are cities, states, countries, continents. So places on planet Earth get capitalized. Chicago, capital C. Milwaukee, capital M for cities. Texas is a state, capital T. Wisconsin, capital W. Australia is both a country and a continent, capital A. United States of America, capital U, capital S, capital A. South America as another continent, capital S, capital A. Notice in proper nouns, every individual word in that noun gets capitalized. So whether it's South America with 2 words, capital S, capital A, or whether it's United States of America, 3 proper nouns, United States and America, you just have to watch out for how many words are inside of the proper noun. I suppose the same also applies for bodies in space as well. So outside of planet Earth, we do capitalize the names of stars, planets, and galaxies as well. So for a star, like Polaris is the North Star, capital P. Planets, Saturn, Jupiter, capital S, capital J. The Milky Way galaxy, capital M, capital W, to be specific on those. Bodies of water and geographical features get capitalized. So the Ohio River, or the Gulf of Mexico, Lake Michigan, they all get capitalized. Names of areas but not directions might be one of the trickiest rules with proper nouns. So for instance, if we're talking about in the United States, the Midwest or the Southwest, it gets capitalized. But if I'm saying I'm traveling south along the coast, then east, the general terms for directions don't get capitalized. Notice how that plays out around the world. Central Asia, capital C, capital A. The Middle East, capital M, capital E. Capitalized streets and highways. Route 66 is a highway. So notice capital R in Route 66. Street names get capitalized, whether it's Wall Street over in New York City or whether it's Nash Street, Nash Street, where I live here in Milwaukee, or where I live close to here in Milwaukee, capital N, capital S. Capitalize specific names of buildings, bridges, monuments, parks, etc. So Fort Knox, capital F, capital K. The World Trade Center, capital W, capital T, capital C. Again, I live near Nash Park, capital N, capital P. It goes on and on. Titles, organizations, dates, subjects. So I kind of lumped these all together in another slide right here. It's not as big as geographic locations, but there are still other categories of specific proper nouns. We know that people is one of those categories. So besides just capitalizing people's names, like, I'll just make up a name. Well, I'll use my brother's name, like Tom Hantak, right? Capital T, capital H. We also capitalize titles, like Doctor, capital D, Mr., capital M, Mrs. and Miss, capital M. Father, if I was talking specifically to my father and I call him father, that would be capital F. Same thing applies for Father God. We always capitalize names of God. Captain Ahab, so the title itself, capital C, and then Ahab is his name, capital A. Notice that when we use them as common nouns, like the doctor, any old doctor, it's lowercase. Same thing for uncle, any old uncle, lowercase u. Capitalize organizations, institutions, products, and businesses. United League, capital U, capital L. The NBA, National Basketball Association, capital N, capital B, capital A. Milwaukee Lutheran High School is 4 straight capital letters, just because it's all part of the same institution. And then notice that specific brand names for products get capitalized. So Kleenex gets capitalized, while tissue, because it's a common noun, does not. I like to use Ford Focus as an example too, right? Car is lowercase, but a specific kind of car, both the company, Ford, and the model, Focus, get capitalized. Languages, religions, specific school subjects followed by a number get capitalized. Do not capitalize general school subjects. So if you're talking about like social studies or math in general, you're not going to capitalize it then. But if you're talking about Algebra 1 as a specific class, that gets capitalized. Languages will always get capitalized, so English 2, capital S, Spanish, capital G, German. Religions also get capitalized, so capital C, Christianity, capital I, Islam, capital B, Buddhism, and so on. We also want to capitalize historical events, periods of time, and documents. That also includes titles of books. So titles of books, titles of stories, titles of poems are going to get capitalized too. So the Boston Tea Party, capital B, capital T, capital P, is a specific event. The Constitution is a specific document. It's going to get a capital C. I'll note here that we always capitalize Bible as well, and biblical is always a capital B. Sorry. Capitalize days, months, and holidays, but not seasons. So Monday, any day of the week gets capitalized. Any month of the year gets capitalized. Seasons do not get capitalized unless they're given their specific year. So I wouldn't capitalize spring, summer, autumn, or winter. But if I'm talking about summer 2020, then I'm going to capitalize that S. I'll note here that holidays get capitalized too. So Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, Memorial Day, Labor Day, those all get capitalized too. Let's do a little bit of practice. Oh, I got to back out of this. I got to back out of this a little bit to do a little bit of practice with you guys before I set you free to do your assignment. All right, sorry about that little time jump there. I wanted to make sure I could open up this slide in another tab, in another window, just so we can work on this together. So I've got 3 sentences right here with some capitalization errors for us to fix. I want to demonstrate this for you, and then I'll also show you how to access your practice activity 2. Sentence 1, the exhibit runs from Thursday, September 4th, through Tuesday, December 30th. For 1, don't get fooled by the first word in a sentence. Always needs to be capitalized, so capital T, the. I do not need to capitalize exhibit because I'm not talking about any specific exhibit here. Exhibit is just a common noun, so I don't need to capitalize it. But notice that I have lots of time elements to capitalize in this sentence. We know that days of the week need to be capitalized, so Thursday is capital T, and Tuesday is capital T. We also know that months need to be capitalized. Capital S, September, capital D, December. I should say, if you need to take a moment to go through and practice figuring out what to capitalize in the next 2 sentences, please do so. Otherwise, I'm going to move on real quick. This is also a reminder that if you are behind on notes, or if I went too quickly for you, feel free to rewind on this video a bit and pause just to write down what you'd like to write down. Again, you're free to use your capitalization notes on any materials we have moving forward, including quizzes and tests. The Museum of Science will remain open on Memorial Day. I went ahead and capitalized the first word in the sentence for the next 2, just so we don't have to repeat that. But notice, Museum of Science. We're talking about a specific building now, so let's capitalize its specific names. Museum and Science. I don't need to capitalize of, just because it's a little preposition right there. Generally, we do not capitalize itty-bitty prepositions and conjunctions inside of titles, like of and. Holidays get capitalized too. Memorial Day. Capital M, capital D. This last one has a lot to fix. So today, Professor Wyman is taking the Geography 101 class of Bentley University to the exhibit. Once again, the exhibit does not need to be capitalized, and I capitalized the first word in the sentence. Getting tired of saying capitalized. That's okay. We do know that names get capitalized. So Wyman is a last name, capital W. Professor is his title, so we're going to capitalize P as well. Geography 101. Now, in general, once again, subjects do not get capitalized unless they have that specific course number after them. We're going to capitalize geography. And then we also see that there is an institution here, a school, Bentley University, capital B, capital U. I'm hoping that capitalization makes sense to you. I do want to show you how to access your capitalization practice, and I'm looking forward to seeing how well you guys do on it. Let's go back to Schoology. Day 4. Practice assignment. So another OneDrive assignment, just like you guys have practiced earlier this week. All you have to do is click on the document, and it'll bring you your own copy of the document to make your corrections to. It says this: correct the incorrect sentences by adding capital letters where needed. Each sentence contains 2 or 3 capitalization errors. So every sentence is worth a point. If you correct all the errors in the sentence, you get your point. If you get a sentence partially correct, you'll get a half point on that sentence. I'll demonstrate number 1 just for funsies. It says, welcome to the Himalayas. I'm hoping that as you check your notes, you see that there are 2 errors in this sentence. First of all, the first word in every sentence gets capitalized. Welcome. Notice right here that I'm getting these red squiggly lines. It's going to give me suggestions on how to capitalize. Be careful with that. Sometimes it's going to be correct and sometimes not. But in this case, it's correct. Himalayas. There you go. Click to view suggestions. Himalayas is a specific place. It's a mountain range. It's going to get capitalized with an H right there. For my fellow Pixar fans, yes, that is a reference to Monsters Incorporated. That is the first thing the Abominable Snowman says to Mike and Sully. Go ahead and do the other 9 on your own. Just as you finish, you'll be able to click that submit button. It'll save a copy for me to grade. This is where I can give you some feedback on what capitalization rules you're getting right and which ones need a little more work.